Welcome back to Deceit podcast with me, your girl, Jen Simpson. I hope you're having an amazing day, night, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome, welcome to my new listeners. Guys, welcome back to Deceit podcast, where we dive real deep into the messy conversations, the things that we often don't talk about. You said something that's so powerful that a lot of us Black people, we're afraid of doing, and that's going to therapy.
When therapy was suggested to me, I was like, Black people don't go see therapists. That was my answer because I did not know anyone who looked like me who went to therapy. But the truth was, it was going. They wasn't telling nobody.
The unspoken realities of life. The things that we run away from because we think it's too messy and too hard. You talk a little about experiencing childhood trauma. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Like, what was that like for you? What type of childhood trauma did you experience?
I used to always hear my mama say that I was an unhappy child, but she never tried to figure out why I was unhappy.
As you know, I'm your host, Jen Simpson, and today we have a very special guest. I'm excited about this guest because she makes guided journals. This incredible guest has chosen not just to walk in her purpose, but walk in it authentically. She loves it. She enjoys it. She enjoys her purpose like no other. It's like a lifestyle for her. It's her daily routine, her job. Yep, she's doing it. This special guest is Shawnti Refuge.
You ever notice how people will suck the joy, the energy, and the patience right out of you, and then have the nerve to ask, what happened to you? What happened to me? You happened to me. Your chaos, your lack of accountability, your constant taking and never giving. Baby, I got tired. I got wise. I stopped pouring from an empty cup just to keep you comfortable. So yeah, I'm not the same. I'm softer with myself and stricter with my boundaries. And if that feels like a loss to you, maybe ask yourself why my burnout used to benefit you. This season, I'm choosing me. And if you feel that in your soul, drop a me too in the comments. Let's talk about it. I have full convos on my YouTube. Go to the link in my bio and check them out.
She is a certified mental health coach who's passionate about breaking generational cycles. And you guys know that this season, our theme is breaking generational cycles is a lifestyle. She is passionate and bravely and authentically breaking generational cycles and fostering healing. She fostered healing for her own self. She fostered healing in her relationship with her children, and she's helping others to foster healing in their own lives and within their own relationships with their family and with their children or spouses. In today's episode, we'll discuss her journey through trauma, healing, and the power of guided journaling. You guys hear it all the time about you need to journal. What is guided journaling? Guided journaling are prompts. They are prompts that guide you and force you and put you in a position to answer questions that you are afraid to answer. It guides you to search deep within your soul, deep within your heart, to figure out what is going on. Where are those pieces? Why are you running away from your internal self? Shawnti's insights promises to resonate deeply with everyone and anyone to navigating their own struggles, especially those who are feeling a lot of weight, the burden of carrying their family on their back, not being able to say no, being a people pleaser, always having to be the one to mend things and figure things out, not knowing about boundaries. Shawnti Refuge is not just a coach. She's a best-selling author who chose to walk in her calling and her purpose because she can, and she believes that other people can. Guys, I would like you to take a moment and go visit her website, www.ShawntiRefuge.com. Go check out her work Go check out her journal, her guided journals. Purchase a copy. If you don't want to purchase it now, you're not too sure, wait till the end of this episode and I promise you that you are going to be buying more than one guided journals. So guys, please sit back, get ready to dive deep with Shawnti and I. Remember, I always say now, grab your favorite beverage, a snack, and let's sit down and unwind and figure out why is guided journaling so important and valuable in your healing process. Get ready, let's go, and welcome Shawnti Refuge. Hello, Shawnti.
Hey, Jen, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well.
Thank you for joining me, and welcome to the Licensees Podcast with me, your girl, Jen Simpson. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you here today. And I would love for you to share with our listeners that may not be familiar with you, and some people may already know the amazing, phenomenal woman that you are. But I would love for you to share a little bit about your background, where you're from, what do you represent, and when you leave this earth, what is your mission and what is your hope that your legacy will be?
That's a whole lot of stuff. Let's see. First, thank you for having me. I am Shawnti Refuge. Yes, that is my real name. I get that all the time. Is that your real name? I thought that was a pen name. Nope, that's my government name.
I thought it was a pen name too.
No, that was my name, Shawnti Refuge. That's my married name, last name, Refuge. That's my married last name. But that's my name. And I am in Houston, Texas. I am a master certified mental health coach, mental health advocate, keynote speaker, and author of the best-selling book, Quiet as Kept. And I help women, especially Black women, to release, heal, and live their best lives with guided journaling. And when I say release those past traumas, all that junk that we tend to carry, that baggage that doesn't belong to us or doesn't serve us. I help women to release that. And I know it's possible because that's what I had to do for myself. So how I came about in a business is that in 2018, I had a nervous breakdown. And the first thing that was handed to me was antidepressants. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want to know why I'm acting like this. Why am I having these episodes? Why am I emotional? It was a literal emotional roller coaster. And I wanted to know why. And how do I stop this? How do I get off? And what can I do to not get back on it again? Because I didn't intentionally get on it the first time. So eventually through talk therapy and guided journaling, because I was taught how to do guided journaling, and I learned that I had a bunch of trauma, a bunch of baggage that I was holding on to that did not serve me at all. And through that, I learned I had severe anxiety and depression. And I said, oh, no, she don't. She gonna overcome this because people are quick to put labels on stuff. You're not your past. You're not what happened to you. It's up to you to heal from that and get through it, overcome it, so you can live your purpose. And I think that, I know that God sent me into that spiral for a reason, because otherwise I probably would still be doing ratchet stuff and, being not a good person. So I'm glad that I went through what I went through, because that ended up being my breakthrough. And the legacy I want to leave is, I have children. And so, I was able to, heal, and I had to go back and get my girls and show them that it's possible. No matter what we've been through, we can overcome it. And so I want to leave that legacy for all Black women, all Black mothers, aunties, grandmothers, great grands, everybody, all of us, little girls, because we deserve that. We deserve to be healed in every shape, form, or fashion. It's not, pick and choose which person gets it. It's a matter of if you want to do the work. And that's why, I established Shawnti Refuge Journals. So, in different forms, whether you want to, do self-help, guided journaling, if you want to do a self-paced course, if you want to, be coached one-on-one with me or in one of my groups, that you are using the tools that are out here and to know that you don't have to do it alone, and you're not alone. There's like billions of people on this earth going through things, and we're all so quiet about it, and it's not helping. Healing doesn't come in isolation, it comes in community. So I am building that community to let, our little inner children know that, we can heal ourselves, but in community, not by yourself. Don't do it alone because you don't have to. Did I answer all
You
your questions?
listen, honey. You answered my question and more. And the reason why I paused for a second, I'm smiling, besides the fact that smiling is like my thing, it's my coping mechanism. I smile all the time. I feel like when I smile, I'm giving, I don't know, some sense of peace and love to other people. But I'm smiling because I listened to you
Mm-hmm.
reaffirm yourself in one sentence. You said, I think, and you said, no, I know.
Mm-hmm. And I had to work
You
on that.
listen, you worked on it and you conditioned yourself to be able to go back and be like, no, I am not that. I am this. God called me
Yes.
to be this, and I know who God said I am. And there ain't
Yes.
no way the devil can tell me anything different.
Boom tap.
That listen, I heard that all in your spirit in that sentence that you gave me. I was like, keep going. I just want to hear more. I love it.
Thank
Oh my gosh,
you.
Shanti, I love you.
Thank
I
you.
know
Look
there's
now,
another
I'm not
thing.
trying to proud of my eyelashes now. Cut it out.
Listen, listen. No, I love you. And I love you, my sister, because we don't hear it often in the Black community.
You're absolutely right.
And we
And
may
for that,
say
I
it,
love you.
but is it
Hmm.
genuine? Or is it just something we just throw out there because it's the new catchphrase? I love you, sis. How did you know that you wanted to become a mental health coach?
I didn't know. I had no plans on any of this.
Yeah.
uh, when I initially started my business, I was only doing guided journals. Literally made guided journals, had them printed and produced, and I was selling those. That's it. That's all I was doing. And I was at a vending event because I used to go to different events and vend. I have my table and my journals, and I would tell my story. When people ask. But at one of the events, the event host came up to my table and said, "You ready to talk now?" And I'm like, "Talk to who?" She said, "She said, I need you to get from behind this table. You're hiding. I need you to get on stage and talk." And I'm like, "No." But I went, I did. I said, "Okay, Shawnti, you could do this. You could do this." I went in the back and I had a panic attack, a real full blown crying, can't breathe, panic attack. And I called my best friend and I told her, I said, "They making me speak. I can't get up on stage and talk to these people and tell them all my business." And she said, "If you don't get off my phone and go do that." And she hung up in my face. And I always tell that story because that was the push that I
That you
needed to
needed.
get up on stage. So I got up on stage and I told my story. And from there, people started asking me, "Do you speak at different events?" I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was, "Do you coach?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't coach. I don't do that. You don't want me to coach." But the more people kept asking, I was like, "Okay, God, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, yes, I'm a coach." So I started coaching, and then from there, um, people reached out to me, wanted me to coach them. I'm like, "Me? Why me?" But I now that was back then. But now I know why they ask me because of my authenticity. And I tell them up front, this is what you're getting. And if you're not ready for this, then you don't need me to coach you because I'm not gonna babysit. I don't babysit, I
Right.
don't coddle, I don't woo-woo. I'm like, okay, you got 48 hours and then you gotta get up and let's go. I tell that to all my clients. It is not a
Isn't it?
pity party. So yeah. So that's how I got started.
It's so funny how God will set up our life for us. Even that's not what we planned.
Right?
You had a whole plan for me and I didn't even know. And he'll put you in
Right.
positions to make you step
Yes.
out of that comfort zone.
And baby, did he do it? Yes.
He
He did,
definitely
and
did it.
he's actually done it again. He has done it again, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm not ready, but I'm ready.
You're ready. He'll always equip you with what you need.
Yeah,
And
and he's doing it.
yeah, you said something that's so powerful that a lot of us Black people, we're afraid of doing, and that's
Yeah.
going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
was going
Because
to therapy.
when therapy was suggested to me, I was like, Black people don't go see therapists. That was my answer because I
Yeah.
did not know anyone who looked like me who went to therapy. But the truth was, yeah, it was going. They wasn't telling nobody. It
Yeah.
was like a secret.
Yeah,
So
it was a secret. It was a stigma that they didn't want anybody to label them for
exactly.
going to.
Yeah, because if you go to a psychiatrist or a therapist, there's nothing wrong with you
You crazy,
in a
they
bad
say.
way. Yeah, exactly. And that's not always the case. That is not always the case. And I had to
So
learn that myself because I had to go to a therapist.
right until we have to go like, okay, I get it. Therapy is so
Exactly.
helpful.
Oh, baby, therapy helped me so much, so much. And
And
so now I'm returning a favor. I have to go out and help my people too.
yeah, I'm glad that you chose to be the face of it as well. Because when we see more of our people as coaches and
Mm-hmm.
therapists and doctors, it's a trust thing, it's a
Yeah,
communication thing, it's a connection, it's an understanding.
yeah,
And we
it is.
need each other to stand in the gaps and be there for each other. So we know, yes, my people went through, my people also got through it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
possible for me to heal.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about your life experiences, the traumas you went through, the
Mm-hmm.
experiences that you went through that shaped you, and also helped you to realize that therapy is not just for healing, but it's also therapeutic for the soul. For us to talk to somebody else was a different viewpoint, a different understanding of life or certain situations.
Absolutely. It was through therapy that I realized that I had traumas that I didn't even know were traumas. I learned that I was a victim of child abuse. I didn't know that was traumatic. I learned that I was a teen mom, and that was traumatic. I had my first child when I was 14. I didn't think that was traumatic back then. I just thought, oh, well, okay, and keep it moving. I was arrested when I was 16. Didn't know that was, traumatic. But looking back now, I'm like, yes, that was traumatic. That's why you act like that. That's why you did this. It answered a whole bunch of questions for me that I had. Like, why do I act the way I do? Why do I say the things I say back then anyway? And going to therapy, you're right. It's like having someone help you with a different point of view because, baby, I gave my therapist hell. Yes, I did. I did. I did. And then she took it and she helped me. She did. So I will forever shout her out. That she is my person. She is. And she helped me to learn that, okay, it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to not be okay. Because I used to wear this mask all the time that, I was perfect and my world was perfect and everything around me was perfect. And I didn't want anybody to know that I wasn't okay because I was the one. I'm the family manager, holding it all together for everybody, the go-to person. All that stuff was weighing me down, and that was part of what led me to, having the nervous breakdown. Always being the go-to person. I was burned out, and so through therapy, I've learned how to say no, no, because I used to be a people pleaser, like nobody's business. And I learned, how to say no and to, fill my cup first. And then whatever's trickling over, that's what y'all can have. And it's been a great ride since I've learned how to do that. And, I let people know, yes, I went to therapy. I saw a psychiatrist for 2 seconds, but, I went. And I want people to know. That's why I'm so transparent with my journey because I want other women to know that it is okay. And I'm not hiding anything. You want to know something? I always tell people, if you want to know something, you ask, but be ready for the answer because it might not be the answer you expect.
Right. Right. Exactly. And you said something that's, we always have to be the strong one. And I've seen you said that before. We always have
Mhm.
to be the strong one that carries the load and always helping other people. But even so, we still have to be the one to wear that strong face, that mask. I'm good. Everything's good. I'm doing great. Everything's fine.
Yeah. But on the inside, we're melting.
Right.
And not good. And that's one of the main things. That's what I'm actually talking about on my YouTube channel, is that how being a strong Black woman is tearing us down. It's tearing us apart mentally, emotionally, physically. It is. We
It's,
got that from our mamas and grandmothers and great grandmothers, because we were told to suck it up, keep pushing, be strong. You have to do this, you got to take care of this, you got to do all of these things. But we had never left space for us.
you
And
know, I,
mhm.
I want to touch on that a little bit more
Okay,
because
let's start.
we glorify being a strong Black woman, a strong Black woman that can carry tons of bricks on her back, carry a baby, carry a man,
Yep,
carry
say
the
that.
pains of her childhood,
Hmm.
and still stand up strong and be like, I can do it all by myself, even though the inside of us is ripping apart. And all
Yep.
we want to do is scream out and tell somebody that I'm dying on the inside. And I want to tell you that I'm getting beaten every night. I want to tell you that my child's failing school and not doing well and I can't pay for a tutor. I want to tell you that sometimes I feel suicidal, but I can't because I don't
Hmm.
want to be judged because I already have this label. I am a strong Black woman and I glorify
Exactly.
it and I walk in it with pride.
Exactly.
We were taught for too long to carry that
Hmm.
title because it's not something to be glorified about. It's great to be resilient, but why do you have to be all the time a strong Black woman?
And that's exactly what I'm teaching, that you don't have to be. Put that cape down, sis. Put it down. It's not for us no more.
It don't work no more.
Mm-mm.
And I find, now we're so angry with society for expecting things from us. And
Hmm.
we're mad at society when they see us crying and then tell us to get over it because we're used to just
Like we
getting
some
over
robots.
it. Like we're robots, right?
Yes. And that we are not. We are women with feelings. We
We
are
are
not
women with
robots.
feelings, and we should not be defined by the color of our skin and the things that we go through.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's time for us Black women to step outside of that strong Black woman label. We are more than
Yes,
just strong
ma'am.
Black women.
Yes, ma'am.
So I love that you highlighted that and that you are highlighting that on YouTube channel because it takes a village
It does. It
to
really does.
break those generational things that were passed on to us.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not just the children who need a village. We as adults, we need one too. We need that village. And when I say village, I mean a safe space. Definitely a safe space to go for me to say, I'm not well. I need help. I'm hurting, and not be judged or criticized for it.
Right. And not feel judged or criticized about it or ashamed to talk about it.
Exactly.
And this is what we're doing right now. We're undoing those things that we're taught. We're
Exactly.
undoing the way that we saw our mothers work 3 jobs, cook dinner, take care of children, all while crying over a man.
You said it. You
Right?
said it.
Yes.
Yes.
We are more than that and we deserve more than
Yes.
that. And we're teaching each
Absolutely.
other how to accept more than that because we don't know how to. We don't know how to receive it. So we try to
That
be
part right
everything for
there.
ourselves, right?
Yeah,
If we ask
because
somebody for help, we generally say, no, 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 we're okay. I'm good. I can carry it. Although you're carrying 20 bags of groceries. And sis, you
hmm
know you need help, but you
yeah.
won't take the help.
But you know why? Because I could let me speak for myself when I say this. When people used to offer help to me, I used to think they always wanted something in return.
Right.
So that's why I was saying, that's all right, I got it, I got it. Or I
Hmm.
don't want you hanging this over my head that you helped me with this. Because people do that,
They do that.
unfortunately.
People do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. And you know what?
Hmm.
I've told myself over the years that if I go to somebody because I'm really feeling down or hurt, and you're going to take what I told you and go pass it
Hmm.
on to other people and use it against me, that's on you. That's no longer on me. God will deal with the
That's right.
rest. So do what you want to
That's
do. But
right.
I know that when I came to you, I came for genuine help.
Exactly. Exactly.
You talk a little about experiencing childhood trauma.
Hmm.
Can you talk about that a little bit more? Like, what was that like for you? What type of childhood trauma did you experience?
I used to always hear my mama say that I was an unhappy child,
Hmm.
but she never tried to figure out why I was unhappy. So, like I said, back then I didn't think it was anything wrong with it. Like, a child do something wrong, you get in trouble.
Yep.
And in my case, we got whippings all the time. So, but it was extensive. It had gotten extensive. So, again, I ain't think anything of it until growing up. And, at some point that I started doing to my kids what my mom was doing to me, not thinking it was generational. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. I didn't know any better. But once I learned and knew better, I even had to go back and talk to my mom and say, look, you did this to me and this is how it made me feel. And that didn't go over so well,
Of
but
course.
I did my part in getting it out, because that was the point, to get it out. And she told me that the only reason why she treated me that way is because one of her older friends told her to do it, and it would keep me in line, because
Mm.
I'm the oldest, of course. So the oldest child, your mama, that's the one your mama make the mistakes with.
Yep. 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 That is true.
So that's how that came about. But yeah, I mean, yeah. And I remember as a kid, I would go to school with, black eyes, or, belt marks on my face. And, nobody would even blink an eye or ask what was wrong. I used to make up stuff like, oh, I ran into the doorknob, just in case somebody asked. And I remember even going to my school counselor and letting her know what was going on. And she sent me back to class and said, you just jealous of your sister. Go back
Wow.
to. Mhm. So yeah, I remember that.
We talk about intergenerational trauma. My last episode, I talked about intergenerational trauma and
Hmm.
intergenerational curses and
Mm.
intergenerational sicknesses. And
Hmm.
it was so perfectly defined how she explained generational DNA and how
Yeah.
things are passed down through the DNA. And we just naturally start to live our lives the same way, but we never take the time to do the research and figure out what is in the bloodline.
Right. Yeah.
And you talk about how you just started doing it to your children. That's
Hmm.
what we know. We
Yeah.
well, mom said it was good for me, and because
Right.
naturally, as kids, who do we look up to first? Our parents. Our first of all, our moms more than our dads for most
Exactly.
of our children, right? So if mom says
Right.
it's good for me, we believe it, and then we do it to our kids. It's the same thing.
Hmm. Yep.
And then intergenerational trauma within the school system.
Mm. Hmm.
And it continues to go on. It may look different today, but it happens.
Yeah, it
You see it
does.
in the school systems where kids may come to school. They're in a bad mood, terrible mood, have a little bit of attitude, a little bit of sass in their voice, and you
Hmm.
automatically judge the child and think that that's just a bad kid, and you start labeling them throughout the whole school year. They're a troubled
Yeah.
child. They just give problems. They just don't like school. You label them, but you've never actually taken the time to pull the child
To ask.
aside
Yes, that part.
and really dig deeper and figure out what's going on the inside.
Exactly.
We don't know naturally how to break generational cycles. This is how we teach each other based off of experiences
Yeah.
and what we go through. And this season, my whole theme and what I live by and I've been living by, and I realized I'm like, you started the podcast to break generational cycles, but it's a lifestyle. It
Yeah.
is a lifestyle because there
It
will be
is.
moments where we're in situations and we find ourselves doing something that we told ourselves that we broke away from.
Mm-hmm.
But the situation, the circumstances put us back there. And
Yeah.
we have to snap out of it and remember and do what you
Yes.
did in the beginning. You said, I think, and you went to, no, I know.
I know. Yeah.
Because we're used to saying, I think I am this. No, I know.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm a generational curse breaker,
Oh, I know I am.
right? Exactly. You don't think, you know, because you've done it
Oh,
and
I
you're
know it.
still doing it.
Yeah, still doing it. Yeah.
You know, you talked a little bit about the importance of telling your story, speaking your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so often in life, we keep quiet. And until we become adults and we start dating, we get married, we have children, we choose our career paths, it's like a light
Mm-hmm.
bulb goes off after a while and we're like, wait, something's not right here. These pieces don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
Something's off. Can you share a specific moment or experience that sparked that passion in you to start telling your story and starting your journey of breaking the generational cycles? I know you talked about going to therapy and you doing
Mm-hmm.
the journals, but what pivotal moment really changed it for you?
I think it was during a time where I was doing one of my journaling exercises for myself. And then I had to stop and say, okay, you're doing this and you're trying to help other people. What about your family? How in the world
Mhm.
are you going to go out here trying to help other people and your family not straight? And that's when I was like, okay, all right, you're right, because that's one thing I don't ever want to be labeled as a hypocrite.
Yep.
So I stopped. I went back. I tried to help my mama. She ain't with it. But I went back and got my girls. And we reestablished our relationships. And a part of that was me writing my book. That was my pivotal moment, writing my book and putting all this in a book for the world to see, because the book is very raw, very unapologetic. I'm laying it out there. And my daughter read my book, my youngest one.
Mhm.
And that was like, okay, because I didn't think she was gonna read it. I know I my mama said she wasn't reading it, so my sister read some of it. My daddy said he wasn't reading it because, of course, they think it's about them, but the book is not about them. But
Right.
whatever. But when my daughter told me she read it, it was like, okay, Lucy, you okay, you gotta help your family. You gotta help your family. And when I say family, I mean my like immediate, my children, my grandchildren. I always said I was the black sheep of the family, always. And I was saying it as a joke because I always knew I was different from all of them. Like
Mhm.
I would bring friends home and I'd be like, I don't act nothing like them. I'm adopted. Because if when you would get around my family, you will see I don't act it. I never have. I've never gone with the flow. I've always been a rebel. Always, you say go this way, Shawnti going that way. So, but I went back and got my kids because I was like, okay, no, nobody's gonna take you seriously if you sit up here trying to save the world and you can't save your house.
Mhm.
So I had to stop and save my house.
That was a dawning moment for me that second, because I said the same thing to myself a couple of months ago. You
Mm,
know, it feels hypocritical if we don't try to save our families
yeah,
and the people that are in our circle,
right.
our friends and families. If we don't try, and we could try until the wheels fall off,
Yeah,
it's, and that was something that I said to myself. But at the same time, we have to realize that there's a burnout sometimes. Because
there
sometimes
is.
you'll be trying to help them, but they'll also try to pull you down because they're not ready to change.
That, yes. And at that point, when that happens, that's when you take your hands off of it. You did your part. You tried.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
it is emotionally draining when you really just want to pull them along with you,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they just won't.
When I first started my healing journey, baby, I just knew, come on, mama, come on, kids, let's go. We going to heal. And it did not work out that way. It did not.
And they're like, "What's wrong with you? What are you talking about
Yes.
healing? I'm
Yes.
fine. I'm
Yes.
perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong
Exactly.
with me."
Yeah. That was it right there. You must have been a fly on the wall because yep, that was
Right?
it.
Yep, that's exactly how they think. Because what's it's normal to them.
Yes.
And until they can see it for themselves that it's not normal,
Exactly.
and there's so much more on that other side,
Yes.
they don't want to hear anything about it.
Nope.
But one thing I've learned, and I keep learning it, Shanti, some things are not meant for us to carry.
Yes.
And
You're
all we
right.
gotta do is pray
Yes.
and ask God to take the shade off of their eyes and open
Yes.
their hearts
Yes.
and lead them in the direction and send somebody. I don't care who it is. Send that person that will be a voice that will help them transform and see things the way that you want them to see.
Yeah. Because it's always
Because
gonna be a stranger.
right, it's always, and it's funny because sometimes when we're on this journey and we're healing and we're doing the work, we're doing and we're feeling good and everything looks good. We just start feeling different on the inside, everything's
Mm,
shifting around us. We just feel like, okay, cool. And my family's gonna see me and they're gonna see this halo and they're just gonna want to come with me and just listen to everything that I have to say and all my teachings. Uh-uh. It doesn't work that
mm,
way all the time. Sometimes we're
mm.
not the person, we're meant to break the generational curse,
Yeah.
but we're not
Whether we
always,
like it or not.
whether we like it or not, and we're not always ones that are gonna pull them to the well and be like, drink this water. Maybe
All right.
somebody else.
Yeah, you're right. Because I know there have been many times I want to just take their head and drink the dang on
Drink, I
water.
said, drink it. Drink it. I know exactly what you're talking about. Sometimes I'm like, just why? Just come with me. You could feel
Right.
this. But all
Hmm.
you can do is just pray for them.
Yeah, that's about it.
And I know you said you went back for your girls.
Hmm.
Those are your daughters?
Yes.
When you say you went back for them, can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with them? Was there a point in your life where your relationship just didn't work out? It wasn't jiving. There was some pain there.
Yeah. Yes, honey. There was a point where I had no contact with either one of them. My oldest daughter, she stopped contact with me. I think when she was maybe fresh out of high school, when we think we grown, we know everything,
Yeah.
that age. And, we didn't talk for a few years. And up until I contacted her and I'm like, look, come on now, I know I wasn't the best mom that I could have been. I only did, what I knew how to do and blah, blah, blah. And, we had our come to Jesus moment and we made up and we've been good ever since. And then my youngest daughter, we went almost 7 years without contact at all. And it was a very rocky relationship, very. And that's the one who read my book. Your second child is always the gangster in the family.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it. I got a little gangster going on 21 and she's 10.
Yep, yep, pretty much. And her reading my book prompted her to come and make amends, to initiate making amends, and we did, and that was almost a year ago. So we are fresh on the reconciliation, but we are so close now. We talk several days a week. We have it. Once I got my girls back, I started this. I said in 2025 I'm going to start dating my daughters, and that's what I've been doing. So I take them out on dates. I say, come on, let's go on a date, and we have individual dates, and we need to have a group date. I'm still waiting on that, but our schedule is on the line. So far it's been individual dates, and I've been enjoying it because it's me bonding with my girls and doing the things that I can do. And of course I couldn't do it. What could a 14-year-old mom do?
Enjoying
Like,
seeing
I
little
wasn't even
ones.
old enough to have a job back then. So now I'm at a place in my life where I can, say, come on, let's go, my treat. Or, let's do this and let's do that. Just, so they can know that, mama loves them and that, we're past where we came from. We're not there anymore. And we ain't going back either. I don't care what's going on. Now that I've got them both back in, I'm not going nowhere and they're not going nowhere either.
I love that for you guys. I love
Thank
that
you.
for you.
Thank you so much.
I love it for you because a lot of people don't get the opportunity while they're on their
Hmm.
healing journey and in their process to make
Hmm.
amends, to be able to heal that relationship.
Yep,
Because
they do.
when the other party went through so much and they feel offended and they're not on that healing journey either, but you're at
Mm.
baby, you're at step 10. And they're like, no, I don't care if you're at step 10. I'm still at stage 1 because I need to know why you did this to me and I can't wrap my head around it. So
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
happy for you.
thank you. And we had a full blown, no holds barred conversation. You know, I let them have it. They let me have it. And, we cried, hugged, and we went on our merry ways together, though.
Yeah. And you know what? You said something, and I love that you said it. You guys allowed each other to have it, which means
Hmm.
that you allowed each other to express yourselves, say your
Yes.
pieces as
Hmm.
raw. And I'm imagining it that it was
Yes.
raw, it was real. It wasn't probably the nicest things, but it
No.
was truth telling.
Yes, it was.
And
Yeah.
I just want you, being a mother who had that beautiful experience and living in it right now,
Hmm.
and being able to, I said to somebody today, we need to normalize disagreeing with each other, having disagreements and arguments. And that doesn't mean that I don't love you. That doesn't mean that I hate you. That doesn't mean that we don't have to
Right.
talk anymore. We can still talk. We just had a disagreement because maybe I don't agree with you, and that's okay. Or I said something to you don't like in a certain tone. Tell me, and let's move past it because
Exactly.
love is
Right.
greater than being upset at each other, right?
Exactly. Yes,
So
and life is too short.
life is too short. And I want
Hmm.
you to just tell me, what was that like for you? And for parents who are in that situation right now where they want to make amends with their children,
Hmm.
they're in the process, or either they can't, they're waiting for the opportunity, or unfortunately something happened and that mark has passed for them.
Hmm.
What would you say to a parent, or what encouragement, what advice, what tools can you download in them to help them on their journey to healing a relationship with their child?
The first thing I would say is get into your own healing first. Whatever it is that happened, whatever it was that caused you or your child to go no contact with each other, find out what that is. Find the part you played in it. Accept it. Hold yourself accountable. Of course, people love to say the parent is always, right. Some people think that way, but that's not always the case. Or, maybe the child did something, or, it could be a whole lot of scenarios and we'd be all night talking about it. But the bottom line is you have to do your healing first before you can even go try to, reconnect with your child. And even if you get to that point where you're okay, you have healed, you have forgiven, and you want to reconnect, and that child still doesn't, you have to be okay with that. This is about your healing. Because I'm glad you brought that up because remember earlier I said that, God got me doing something else that I just didn't want to do, but I'm gonna do it. I had ran across somebody's post that saying her and her daughter were estranged for 2 years. and to pray for her. And I was reading all the comments, of course. What did you do? Blah, blah, blah. And you never know what the situation was. But
Mhm.
then I saw somebody else say, there should be a support group about this. There's so many mothers going through this.
Wow.
And I felt that tap on my shoulder. Like, come
There's
on.
there, there's your ministry. There's another ministry for you.
Yeah, and it was so, and I ignored it, of course, in the beginning, but I kept feeling that nudge, and I kept getting these, signs, miracle signs and wonders. Said, "Come on, Shawnti, let's do this." So I finally did it. I actually launched a support group called Mothering in the Dark, and it's a support group for moms who are estranged from their adult children, whether if the child went no contact with you or whether you went no contact with the child. I don't know and I don't care. All I care about is your healing. I don't care about what happened, the story. I don't want to know. I don't care. What I
Mhm.
want is accountability, support, and healing. And that's what we do in a group. So yeah, that's my latest thing. So it's possible, and I want people to know that it is possible. Look at me. I went 7 years without talking to my youngest child, and I can't remember how long it was. It was about 3 or 4 with the oldest one, but I got them both back. Not at the same time, of course not. Me and the oldest one, we reconciled in 2019, and me and my youngest one, we just reconciled in 2024. But it is possible. It's not overnight. It is a journey. It's called a journey for a reason, and it's all about your self awareness. And I teach things like that. So that's the tool to download. Come get in this group. If not for your kid, for yourself.
For yourself. And this group is
Mm-hmm.
on, where is this group? Facebook?
No, I have my own platform. So if you go to my website, you'll see in big capital letters, "Mothering in the Dark." That's the name
Mothering
of
in
the
the Dark.
support group. Mm-hmm.
I loved the title. I love what you called it, Mothering in the Dark, because
Yes,
if
you're
it
still a
is
mama.
I I'm I call myself a specialist at naming things now. I own that now. But but you called it Mother in the Dark, and I love that because I think of so many things when I hear that title.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you could actually remember back to when you became a teenage mom at 14 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go back again a little bit further to when you were a child,
Mm-hmm.
the focus was go to school, don't cause no trouble, hush your
Yep.
mouth,
Yep.
children are to be seen and not heard.
Absolutely. And I rebelled all of that.
And you rebelled all of that. Now, they teach us, how
Mm-hmm.
to eat, how to bathe, how to brush your teeth,
Mm-hmm.
go to
Mm-hmm.
school, get good education, you'll get a good career.
Yeah, that's
And
what
how
they
to
say.
have manners. You make sure when you leave my house, you have manners to the neighbor, you have manners to your
Yep.
elders, and everybody else, and respect will
Yep.
carry you a long way, right?
Yep. Don't be embarrassing me in these streets. Yep.
So now, right? And if you remembered from as small as
Mm-hmm.
we were never taught how to be a parent, a mother.
No, who was? Like, really,
Yes.
who was?
Right. 98% of us weren't. Because I think there's a
Exactly.
percentage of people where their parents told them a little bit about, parenting is not going to be easy. Make sure you communicate with your child. Make sure you check in.
Baby,
However,
that's a small percentage.
right, yes, maybe smaller than that, right? But you called it mothering in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
We are all mothering in the dark, even if we are
Exactly.
not estranged from our child.
Exactly.
Because we're all learning to navigate how to be a parent and do it
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
Mothering
Yep.
in the dark to me also means a group of women who find peace
Yes.
within each other as a circle,
Yep.
as a unit,
Yeah.
to be able to come to each other and be like, listen, this is what's going on. This is what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not too sure if I gave the best advice to my child. Can you give me some word of encouragement or advice?
Yep.
Mothering in the dark represents to me a group of mothers that are healing from our own experiences with our mothers so we can be
Yes.
full.
Yes.
Full.
Yeah.
So we can be full for our
Yeah.
own children. And mothering in the dark is giving grace to each other that it's
Yes.
okay. We're learning and it's okay to learn
Yes. At any age, don't matter.
at any
Yeah.
age. So I
Hmm.
love that title that you called it, Mothering in the Dark.
Thank you.
Being a teenage
Thank
mom,
you.
that wasn't easy. Listen, I can't imagine being pregnant at 14 because I remember my stepfather, he made sure he told me every single day. Listen, my parents are Jamaican. So I would hear
Oh,
from my
say less.
stepfather. I would hear from my stepfather. Make sure say you're not coming at this house here with no belly in front of you. He made sure he
Yeah.
reinforced that in me every single day. So the fear was there.
Yes.
Even as an adult, I'm like, Lord, if I get pregnant, they're going to be disappointed in me. I'm not married yet. There are so many
Mhm.
stigmas that we go through.
Yeah, they
We are
are.
here to break. So being a
Yes,
teenage
we are.
mom, what was that like for you? What telling your mom that you were pregnant?